join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. I'm losing my voice, but I'm going to do my best to kind of read a statement here and timeline of last week. I figure most people are here for some of that anyway. We're talking about right now the time between 11:30 and 12:30 on Tuesday. There was a report that a student was wearing a Kevlar vest at school. At that time, there had been no report of any kind, of any type of threat. Mr. Streeter went and got the student and several other students and brought them to the offices and started interrogating. A student heard that a student was scared and heard that there was a possible shooting at school and did some texting, which then caused a police officer off duty to dial 911. A staff member at the same time, this time, overheard some of this and went down to the junior high and had the junior high told the principal and went on a soft lockdown. So we have the police in the building and the junior high on soft lockdown, so the high school goes on soft lockdown. Now, at that time, the students that were reported wearing the vest was in the office and nothing going on. Searches were completed and nothing was found at that time. The state police detained one person. The remainder of the day was as normal as possible, with rumors flying around of retaliation. About 2 o'clock, the central office sent a school message to all the school community. We also placed on Facebook an official press release. Facebook drama began at that time. On Wednesday, as much as it could be with investigations going on, we had a pretty normal day. Facebook, otherwise, allegations, lies, panic, and rhetoric was being posted, and really hampering the state police and the county police's investigation. Thursday was pretty much a normal day for most of the day. People were preparing for Veterans Day. The investigation was continued, and I have to commend the police. I will probably do this 10 times tonight. They spent countless hours running down false leads because of Facebook. About 12:20, we have an SRO officer in the building in our school district, and they work there in the district most every day. And they do various tasks for us. We had an unrelated incident, totally unrelated to anything that had to do with the events on Tuesday. Our SRO officer carried a student home. At that point, excuse the term, Facebook explodes. That we've arrested a second person that had nothing to do with the incident. From that point on, Facebook grew legs, it became alive. There were all kinds of things that happened. And it really hampered the process of school. We continued the day. We had the FFA Male Veteran Day practice. Thursday night there were 200-300 people in the building, and because of the rhetoric that was going on Facebook, we sent out another school messenger and a post on Thursday evening. It obviously didn't calm anybody down or change anything that was happening on Facebook. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into, that was kind of the timelines, and then we had school Friday, and it was a pretty uneventful day. All schools had police officers in them, and we had our Veterans Day programs, and it was a real good day for the students that showed up. So first of all, I'd like to thank all the police, especially Russ, who worked with me quite a bit. Also worked with the Posey County Police. We also worked with the detectives and the sheriffs with the county. The state police and the county police put in countless hours, and we could not have done this without them. They were wonderful. And anytime you have a situation like this, it gives you a chance to practice, to be better. And so I think we all found things that we'll be able to do better in the future. We're going to debrief, and we're going to look at things that we could work on to try to shimmy up and make sure that if hopefully it never happens again. But if we ever have to have this much involvement with police in our schools, that we'll even do a better job next time. So I really want to thank y'all publicly. I want to thank the school community and the community who trusted the system, trusted the state police, trusted the county police and administration by sending their kids to school, believing and knowing that we wouldn't have school if we didn't know school was safe. Each parent was thinking of their child's safety, and rightly so. With us making the decision jointly as a team, we didn't take that lightly. We were thinking about every student in the building, every staff member, our veterans, and the loved ones that come to watch us celebrate their achievements in the service. We had over 2,000 people in our facilities, and trust me when I say the police and myself and the rest of the staff, when we decided to go to school, we didn't take that lightly. We knew that we had to succeed, and at the time, we knew that there was no serious threat to school. We had two things going on at the same time. We had a student wear a Kevlar vest to school on Tuesday. That was number one. Number two, we had social media rhetoric conjuring, which created hysteria, untrue rumors, or lies. There was no bomb threat, there was no kill list, there was no notebook with a plan, there was no one at large that we didn't know where they were at. There were not to arrest, there was no original threat to the school. Only I heard from people. In this case, social media and the people involved in the continuous posting of these items were the ones generating the danger to the school. The police had all else under control. It was those posts that hampered their investigation, ongoing investigation, because they had to spend countless hours running to people's houses chasing down false leads. Under the advice of several officers with the state police and the county, we knew that we had the serious threat that didn't exist under control. We were most concerned about the social media threats. With that, we decided to go to school, and it was a great day, and here we are on Monday. So that's the official statement that we would like to say.
Okay. So at this time, we'll go into our patrons' concern section. Before we do that, I'd like to go over the rules that are outside beside the sign-in sheet, and make sure that the guidelines are followed, that we keep each of our comments to less than 3 minutes. All comments, statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may question or address a board member individually. Patrons will not be allowed to make statements, comments in a complaint or accusatory form about the individual school employees by name or by reference. We'd also like to add to this to keep our students and any juvenile names, any person out of your comments. Do not make a comment towards an individual person. The first one on the list here is Mr. Helford.
I really wish I came a little more prepared for this. I really hadn't planned on coming. I just had a few comments, concerns, whatever you want to call them. I would like to thank the police officers that handled this. I think they did a good job. I think, like a lot of parents, we were struggling to make a very important decision that regarded our children with very limited information. Like you guys, I saw the Facebook hysteria and whatnot. I spoke with Vince later that evening, seeing if you guys would have a comment. I think that was before you guys had the Facebook, the official press release out. Just concerned that I think there would have been a lot less hysteria, a lot more parents feeling secure about decisions if there was a little bit more transparency about the false accusations or the false reports. I had a good feeling that it was mostly false rumors, as teenage kids will do. You know, I have a 14-year-old that is drama city. But there's always that one little thing in the back of my mind, you know, what if, and I have no good resource to say, hey, this is baloney, you know, or this, you know, so just a lack of information being brought out to the parents at the time was a great concern to me. I know a lot of other parents shared that sentiment, at least they did on Facebook, and I see that it's a crowded room now. But I do know you guys have a hard job ahead of you, and I'd like to thank all of you for your participation and your wanting to help the school boards. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mrs. Butler.
Hi, I would like to share some information with the board who represents my voice. I would like for them to hear my voice, and I haven't been able to express my voice so far, but it looks like I'm going to have to give you information through different channels. So this is my information that I brought you. I think the police did a great job. Dr. Streeter too did a great job in handling the threat, and I'm very appreciative to all of them, and I'll let them know I'm here in the foyer. And this information is just something I brought for you in case you missed it. I want to remind you again that you're my voice. I vote for you people. I'm a taxpayer. Please hear me. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for all the efforts that y'all went through. And it was unbelievable, and I appreciate everything you were guiding me and helping me do and talking with me through the whole deal.
All right, next we're on to new business.
Yes, as you know, we settled the master teacher contract. We came to an agreement for a 2-year deal. If you look, basically, it was a 2-year deal. The first year, $90,000 would go into the share model. We would raise the bottom to $34,000. We'd raise the top up to 23 years of experience. Background checks would be paid by the corporation. We made many ECA changes, added added summer weights, training position. We also added, which is not out of general fund, an e-learning coach position. Changes that were required by the longevity salary for teachers to make us IRB compliant. We also settled the second year for 67% of the new money, and they would receive any, if we received our deficit spending below $50,000, they would receive 67% of that savings. We would maintain the HSA contributions to all employees for both years of the contract, and if anything would go haywire, we've agreed to a reopener language. At this time, I'd also like to ask the board to approve the non-certified salary increases. The July and August group at 45 cents an hour. The September contracts at 50 cents an hour. The bus drivers to receive a $500 stipend, and the sub-drivers to receive a stipend for $300. Central office personnel, contracts into 240 days and an 8-hour day. Qualified administrators to receive compensation through the model of the master teacher contract, and the superintendent to receive $500 salary and a $3,000 stipend. Ask the board to approve all of these increases for all of the staff at North Posey. With that, I can also just general information give you with our new money and our saved money and all our staff changes and all the expenses that everything in this cost in general fund, we come out to about $86,000 savings on new money. So it is a good contract for the teachers, and it is good for the corporation, because I feel like that the teachers understood and knew that we needed to reduce our deficit spending, and with this contract for 2 years, they get raises, and we also get to reduce our deficit spending at the same time.
Looking for a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gentile, seconded by Mrs. Will, to approve the master contract and contract changes and salary for non-certified and staff. Do we have any other comments or discussion on the item?
I'd just say anytime you have a package this big, you're always going to have things that you don't necessarily agree with. But I know this is the first time since I've been on the board that we've had all the employees, that we're looking at them all at the same time. I think that's definitely a positive move for comparison's sake. And it seems to be a good deal for everyone. So
All right, so all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
You'll need to sign that. And then this is the master teacher. This is the master teacher contract. You need to sign it right there, and then I'll sign the other pieces.
Sign and print.
No, you just have to sign it.
All right, so next we're looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda items, the minutes and claim docket.
With that being said, remember I asked you if you would add the FMLA for Rick LaGrange, and also the contract with Business Communication Solutions for new phones at South Terrace.
So looking for a motion with those changes listed.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items with the additions.
A second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Oakley, seconded by Mr. Gentile, to approve the consent items with the addition of the FMLA request from Mr. LaGrange and the added contract with BCS. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have one thing. On the assistant athletic director, that is not a new position. That is,
The assistant athletic director position is not a new position. We have filled it before. and we've left it unfilled. And so this has been a position that has been in the ECA contract of the master teacher contract for many years.
And they're splitting the stipend, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next, we have the 2018 school calendar for approval. 2 calendars were given to the teachers. We discussed it several times in principals or superintendent's advisory. The principals administration team has reviewed it. Amy has worked with it and made sure that it complies with the things that we do with Mount Vernon and BBSC. And after a lot of review, we've chosen proposal 2. I'm having a hard time talking, I'm sorry. So I'm asking the board to approve this calendar for the 2018-19 school year.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the calendar as presented.
A second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Gentile to approve the 2018-19 school calendar. Any other discussion on the item? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
We have an e-bus that was bought in 2003. That's the little white activity buses. We need to get rid of it and declare it surplus. We've been talking with Troop 393 for several years. They no longer can carry in certain things, so they've been asking for this e-bus for a long time if we ever would sell it. And so I'm asking if we can declare this e-bus surplus, turn around and sell it immediately to Boy Scout Troop 393. They have a big troop, and they've got 1 bus already. They need 2, and so they would like to purchase this bus. We have worked close with them before. They're the troop that built the shed in the kindergarten playground, and there's been some other Eagle Scout projects that they've done. Then there's other troops that have done Eagle Scout projects too. This group is out of St. Wendell. Just to give you some information so that we can set a price to, if you agree, and we need to discuss that here, sell it to them. When we trade in a full-size bus, we usually get between $2,000 and $3,500, depending on the age of the bus and the miles. And this bus has high miles. It is, basically 13 years. 2003 is 14 years old, going on 15 years old. It is not a big bus, so the value of it would probably be between $1,500 and $2,500. So I'm asking the board if we could declare this e-bus surplus and then immediately sell it to Troop 393 and have you set the price. I can make a suggestion if you want, what I think we should sell it for.
I'd like some. I'll take the suggestion.
Well, we buy and sell buses all the time,
Right.
and so I just know, when you trade them in, that was the figures I gave you on those big 72 passenger. This is a 15 passenger bus. I'm thinking it's somewhere in the neighborhood where, with the mileages on it, I think it's somewhere, if we traded it, we would probably get $1,500 to $2,000. if you sold it outright to an individual, you might sometime down the road find an individual that would give you 3,000. But then we have to advertise it, and we know that they want it. So I would say if you would set a price between 1,500 and 2,000, you're selling the bus at a reasonable price, and you're not overcharging, and you're not giving away corporation money at either one of those figures. So I think that's about where it is. So I think the price should land right in there somewhere.
There's no sense putting a range in there.
Well, 1750.
1750.
I was gonna
That's what I
say,
was
you
gonna say.
kind of lay all
Put
your
it right
cards
in the
out and
middle.
open, so. I would be willing, I'd do what?
It's a Boy Scout troop, so I mean, if they were doing things for us at some times, I'd be willing just to go to 1,500.
The Eagle Scout projects that I can remember right off the top of my head, the sidewalk around North Elementary, the shed there, the bleachers at the soccer field, and the pine trees around the tennis courts. So those are the ones that I can just without thinking. Those are the ones that they've done more as part of, and that's just not this troop. That's all the troops. So
Postal troops probably got the most Eagle Scout.
there's a lot of things that are going on. I know that. So I just.
I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, but at the same time, I think we do have to, we have to be fair to the corporations.
Yeah.
Sure.
And maybe if 1750 is in the range, if they're willing to pay it, I'd be willing to support that.
I can agree with that.
Okay. So at this time, I'm asking the board to.
1,500.
I had your 15.
I'm asking the board to approve this, declare E1 minibus surplus and allow me to sell it to the Boy Scout Troop 393 for the price of $17.50.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the recommendation.
I had the motion. Looks like I'm gonna have to buy a lot of popcorn this year.
And we have a second.
I'll second.
The motion by Mr. Gentile, seconded by Mr. Oakley to approve the sale of the minibus and declare it a surplus to Troop 393 for $1,750. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Just give you how those buses depreciate. When we buy a brand new 72 passenger bus, it costs about $90,000. When we sell it, I mean, if it's got low miles and it's in good shape and it's only 12 years old, we can get anywhere between $2,500 and $3,500. I mean, and that's the best. I mean, this is the first one of these buses we've ever declared surplus. So just going from those, we've had some 44 passengers and they would barely bring 2,000. So we went to 72. So I hadn't sold a 44 passenger lately, but this is 15. So I just know that they don't have a lot of value. North Posey High School Spellbow advanced to the state. They did real well. Just want to let you know that I went ahead and signed off on them being able to go because it happened before the board meeting. And so I went ahead and signed off on that. I talked with Greg about that before.
Third, right?
Huh? Yeah, they ended up getting third.
Yep.
The fuel report is in here. The project updates, technology, Wi-Fi. We had an issue with our application to the federal government. Have I sent y'all stuff on that? I think I have. And so Jake talked to them again today. We think that we're going to be able to get everything worked out so we don't have to punt and start over. But Jake has worked out a plan. If we have to cancel that, he's got a plan to get it in place, and maybe we can do it this summer, and it won't back us up too far. So I'm real proud of that. And the weight room and wrestling room are 90% finished. There's just one or two minor little things left that we gotta do. The screen printing that goes on the walls is one of them. They're probably gonna do that over Thanksgiving break. So that's pretty much the project. And then we gave you the calendars of the facility use. And this is the first month that we have done it that way since we changed the policy. So that
I
is the
think that looks
calendars.
great.
Yep.
And so when we approve the board minutes, these calendars will be part of those minutes, and so, in essence,
They're definitely getting used.
They're definitely getting
That's good.
And they're,
next board meeting is December the 11th at the board office. Executive session will be at 5:30, and we'll have a regular meeting at 6:30. I originally had Jake prepared to come to meet with you on that meeting. When we hired Jake, he had already planned a vacation, so he will not be here. So we were laughing, we were turning it over to different people, and then everybody was running from it. So, because talking about technology when you're, you'd rather have the technology person doing it.
Mhm.
We'll figure something out for that meeting.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
I'd just like to reiterate, Dr. Camp, thanks to everybody involved, especially I know our administrators, Streeter and Kavanaugh and Kester had more than their hands full this week, and I think everybody involved did as best as can be expected. So appreciate to all of them.
Looking for a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll say.
We'll make him do it.
Okay. We are adjourned.